Hey, welcome here at CoffeeScoreContracts.com. In today's video, we're talking about forecast lists. So what's a forecast list? How do you use it? When do you use it? What do you need it for? All right, let's go ahead and watch now. All right, forecast lists gone wild. So today we're going to talk about what is a forecast list, when do you need it, where to obtain it, how to read the list, and then how to use the information. So the first thing is, what is a forecast list? A forecast list essentially is a projection of all upcoming projects for a given department or agency. A lot of times the forecast lists, they go from year to year, but sometimes they can project out even a few years, or if not, they break it down by quarters. So just looking right here to the image to the right hand side, you see it talks about the unit, the solicitation release date, the award date, and the total amount that's going to be awarded in the contract. We're going to go a little bit further in detail in the future slides. So when do you need the forecast list? I would say after you have identified your target market list, and if you don't know what a target market list, you got to go back and watch some of my videos where we discuss that. Essentially, the target market list is once you find out who are your customers. And now that you know who your customers are, you're ready to talk to agencies. So I would say, okay, we find out who our customers are, and then we want to start having a conversation with those customers. But again, what are we going to talk about? We'll get to that in a minute. And then lastly, when you're ready to start contracting. So assuming that you have your stuff together, your suppliers, your contacts, your team, you've got a little bit of experience under your belt, and you're ready to get into contracting, that's when you need to get this forecast list. Where do we obtain our forecast list? So I would say probably the widest of a range of forecast lists is Acquisition Central. As you see, here's the website, acquisition.gov. Let's click over and head over to Acquisition Central. Yes, I already have the link here, but if you're starting off at acquisition.gov, you click here, scroll down, and it says Business Zone. Click on Business Zone, and then right there, Agency Recurring Procurement Forecast. And here, you can click on Procurement Forecast, and it will give you, here's a list of agencies, forecast lists that are available here on acquisition.gov. They don't cover every agency, we know. Obviously, you can see the Department of Defense is not here. But if your target market list warrants any of these particular agencies, this is a great place where you can go and just get a start on clicking on some of the forecast lists. So let's just look at a couple. Let's go here to Department of Agriculture, and you see here their 2017 procurement forecast. They've got 8A, each small business, GSA, Hub Zone. So they have different categories of how it's broken down. Then they have their sub-agencies, right, that fall underneath their particular department. And then they've got price range. Now, everyone doesn't have a forecast list this well organized, but this is a good one to look at. Let's see if we can just click on View All Listings. And then it's broken down here based on NAICS codes. You can scroll and see. And then at that point, you already know based on your NAICS code, what are the upcoming opportunities for your particular company, right? So we know our NAICS code, and we know this agency buys our services, so we're not wasting our time or spending our efforts. Let's close out of that. Let's go to another one. Let's look at Homeland Security. Here's Homeland Security's forecast list, and as you can see, they have the different departments that fall underneath Homeland Security, right? So you're talking about the Coast Guard, TSA, FEMA, and so there's different agencies that fall under that. And then they also have here forecast by contract vehicle. So these are your GWACs, your multiple award contracts that go probably anywhere up to 5 years with 1-year renewables. They're typically in the multi-million-dollar range. And so this is basically like a blanket purchase order where once you qualify for one of these particular contract vehicles, now your organization, they'll just basically, every time they have an action, they'll put it out to the organizations that are already pre-qualified on this vehicle. That's a topic for another video. Let's look at Department of Labor. So here they have their list. Let's look here, Department of Education. Here's Department of Education. They've got an Excel spreadsheet that you can click. And there it is. So they have a list of opportunities as well. That's one way of finding forecast lists. The second way is going to the actual agency website, right? And then you want to go through their OSTABU office. And OSTABU, obviously, we know that's where the Small Business Specialist works. That also stands for the Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization. So I've got two really quickly here. This is USAID, and they have also a search box here. It tells you whether this is in Washington or overseas. Tells you for which bureaus, what offices, and then also you can sort by countries. So if anybody's looking at opportunities in other countries, USAID would be one of the organizations that does that. You can see the sectors. Let's look at overseas and click search. Here you see 172 results found. And the first thing comes up, 2017 conflict mitigation and management activities in the West Bank, Israel, and Gaza. Here's the point of contact. This is the person's name. This is where they're operating. It tells you these awards, and it tells you what they do, gives you a description. So if this is the agency your particular organization targets, this is where you'd find the information. Now, let's look at another OSTABU website. And this is Corps of Engineers. This is their Millcon acquisition forecast. Again, these are particularly for construction projects. The DoD organization is so large and there's so many contracts that there's no one central place for them. You're going to have to do some digging around and probably talk to some people on the phone in order to get the information that you need. But this is a Millcon forecast. And again, same format. Project numbers, descriptions, this is where it's at. These are construction, so they have different type of design methods, different types of acquisition methods and tools they use. You can see if they're set aside for small businesses or not. A lot of these are not, but there are a few here. 8A, so Nellis Air Force Base, they're looking for some hired labor. Here, they're looking for a particular agency. So there are a few that are set aside for small businesses. Here's one that's a veteran-owned particular project. So this is showing you basically that you can go directly to the OSTABU's website for that particular agency and find their list on the website. And if you can't find it in one of these two locations, then I would suggest actually picking up the phone and calling that office. So here we're looking at HSS, Department of Human Health Services. So here's a list of the contact people for their small business, right? So here's a list of their OSTABU small business specialists in the office, and you could just send them an email or pick up the phone and call them and find out about their forecast list. And I want to do that for you. We're going to actually make a phone call on this video, but I want to try this lady here at the Department of Commerce, Yvonne Vine. So if you don't mind, we're going to stop for a moment here. I'm going to try and get Yvonne on the phone, and that way you can hear an actual phone call.
Sorry, main 10 SDVU is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey Yvonne, my name is Eric Coffie. I'm with Evan Coff. I'm here on the Department of Commerce website, and I'm actually looking, I got your name here because I couldn't find the forecast list anywhere. It puts you as the point of contact, and I didn't see an email for you in particular, so I just decided to give you a call today. If you don't mind, please give me a call back, please. I'd appreciate it. Or if you can point me in the direction of where your forecast list is, that'd be great. Thanks. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, so Yvonne didn't pick up, but you get the gist. Essentially, you pick up the phone and just give them a call and find out where the forecast lists are. They will either point you in the direction of the list, or they'll actually send you to maybe a particular small business region that's more specific, focused on the criteria that you want. But remember, you must know that that agency is on your target market list and they have the types of projects that you want. Because if you call and you asking for a particular type of NAICS code, that product or service that they don't buy, it's pie on your face essentially. So how do we read forecast lists? I mean, we've kind of touched on this earlier. We've looked at several different forecast lists. Let's just go back to this one here, the Department of Homeland Security, and I want to choose FEMA. Essentially, this is probably one of the cleanest web pages that I've seen in terms of department and agencies. This is a pretty good one. So here, and it allows you to use a CSVA file, PDF file. So I mean, you can print this out however you want it. Here's your NAICS code. It tells you FEMA, if there's any small business program, gives you dollar range, point of contact name and phone number, and email. So I mean, this is a very thorough forecast list. It's actually put together very well. And this one also tells you, so we'll look here, if they're having an incumbent, which is really kind of cool, and the contract number. So now, if you want to go back and do some research on this opportunity, if you want to go back and FPDS and research it, you've got all the information that you need to actually research it. It tells you when the contract is complete in 2022. So, I mean, you've got here a lot of information that you can use at your disposal to start, actually doing some due diligence and finding out how your pricing is, how the structure is, how the contract reads for your particular industry. So this is a really good one. Moving on. So how do I use this information? So now you have your target market list and you have your forecast list. So what do you do next? The first thing I would say is it creates networking opportunities. So again, it's just like if you meet a new person, you're trying to find out how do I make a connection with them. The forecast list is going to help you to make a connection with the small business specialist. So when you get ready to meet with a small business specialist, you already have particular opportunities that you want to discuss. It also, what it does is it'll allow you to see, for example, like where we showed the incumbent who's working on contracts that you may have some interest in. So now you can reach out to that incumbent and actually talk about specific products or services that you offer within his particular contract vehicle. Number 2, gain contact information for decision makers. As you see, it lists the point of contact, it lists their phone numbers, it lists the emails, it tells you who to reach out to, and that's pretty much across the board on every forecast list. Number 3, lunch and learn. One of the things that when you have a forecast opportunity and you know what's coming down the pipeline for some of these agencies or for your particular agency of interest, the engineers and the people who are putting this stuff out, they are smart people, granted, but they are not always the experts. They're looking to people in the private sector, companies who do this day in and day out to give them some of that expertise. That's what's called a lunch and learn. You can ask for the opportunity to talk about a specific contract or a particular forecast, right? You can ask for the opportunity to present yourself in front of the engineering team to show maybe how you can help them in some way actually change the particular criteria or make it more user friendly or make it stronger or weaker, or you can find some areas where you can provide some sort of expertise and offer to do a lunch and learn for their engineers to help them make some decisions. That also allows you to network and them to know about you and you to know who they are. And then last but not least, determine the events to attend. This goes back to your target market list and now knowing who the decision makers are. Once you figure that out, then you already know where you want to spend your time and your efforts. You want to be in the places where the engineers are going to be, where the point of contact personnel is going to be. That's where you want to determine. That's how you help determine the events to go to. And the last thing, I always like to finish with a quote. This is from Robert Collier, American author of self-help, and he says, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out." The forecast list, in my opinion, is the start of your networking and your marketing with agencies within the government. Okay, so this is where the rubber hits the road. So you want to actually concentrate heavily on putting in the work here, okay, so that you can start finding out who the people are that you need to talk to, meeting with them, and start planting those seeds. And that's what's going to help drive your future contract opportunities. Hey, welcome back, Team Score Contracts. Eric Coffie here. Listen, I know after watching that video, you've got all the information that you need to start taking some practical, actionable steps, all right? So don't tell me anymore at this point that you need any more information. You've got the forecast list, you know about the next codes, you know how to build your target market list. You take that forecast list, right, and you get out there and you start calling and setting up meetings with small business specialists. Now you know what opportunities that they have and which ones that you want to pursue, right? The next step is to get out there and start talking to those people. All right, so listen, as always, please share my content. If you like what you hear, subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, okay, on YouTube. Also, I'm trying to get my subscribership up. We're trying to get up so we can have our own private YouTube channel, all right? And then also, leave me some comments. I'm really considering doing Fridays live on YouTube where we go ahead and answer any questions that you may have in terms of government contracts or even motivation or personal development, all right? So leave me those comments, leave some notes in the show notes page as always. Again, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.